Hello, friends. Today we're thinking about comparing and contrasting the two texts that we just finished reading, Mary Anning, Girl Who Cracked Open the World, and Porpoises in Peril. And when we compare and contrast, what we are saying is that there are some things that are the same and some things that are different. Compare, contrast, the same and different. Did you see my equal sign, meaning the same and different? So here on my anchor chart, I have a list of words that we use when we're talking about comparing and contrasting. These are words that you're going to see on your on-demand work today. For my compare words, I think about words like, excuse me for moving my camera a little bit, I think about words like both, like, alike, similarly, also, at the same time, similar, in the same way, and as well. These are words that indicate to us when we're listening to a speaker or we're reading that two things are being compared, that the speaker or the reader is pointing out what's the same. There are contrasting words as well. These signal words help us to understand that what our speaker or reader or writer is talking about what's different about two things. So some of those are, on the other hand, although, but, conversely, however, yet, differ, unlike, and though. So how do those show up when we start talking about two texts like Mary Anning and Porpoises in Peril? I'm going to give you one example of a way that you can use one of these signal words when comparing the two texts, and another example of how you can use these signal words to show contrasting the two texts. So what I'm thinking about first of all is that Mary Anning and Porpoises in Peril are similar because both stories feature science. Did you hear me use the word similar and the word both? Mary Anning and Porpoises in Peril are similar because they both feature science. Let me think about something that's different about both stories and use a contrast word. The main character in Mary Anning is just Mary Anning. There's one main character in Mary Anning. However, in Porpoises in Peril, there are four main characters. Or I could say, on the other hand, in Porpoises in Peril, there are four main characters. I'm using one of these words to signal that I am contrasting two ideas about those texts. So in your on-demand assignment, you're going to be given this list, and you're going to be given an opportunity to think about both texts, just like we did in our live lesson this morning. And you're going to have an opportunity to write two sentences that compare the two stories using these signal words, and two sentences that contrast the two stories using these signal words. In your document, be sure to underline the signal words. So in this first sentence that I gave you, I used the word similar and I also used the word both. In that sentence, I would highlight both and highlight similar and underline them as best you can. If you don't know how to do that yet, ask an adult who's at your house. Same with the contrasting words. When you are contrasting those two stories, I want you to go back through and underline which signal words you used to contrast. And here's the challenge. Try not to use the same signal words twice. So if you're writing two compare sentences, don't use both in both sentences. Try to stretch your brain and use some of the others. And same with contrasting. Don't use however twice. Try using a different contrast word. All right, hope that helps, friends. Get rolling on your on-demand work.